Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please give us a call if you guys are looking to improve your credit score, lower your car payment, buy a car, trade in a car. If you're looking to purchase your first home, if you're looking to purchase a rental property, we can help you. Give us a call today, 877-205-7771. Talk to you guys soon, and thanks again. Hello everyone, this is Calvin Russell, CEO and founder of 850 Club Credit Consultation. Hope everyone's doing well today. Today we're going to talk about, is your significant other, your spouse, your partner, your boo, your babe, whatever you want to call them nowadays, right? Whoever that other person is that you have a relationship with, are they holding you back from not only just not necessarily building your credit, but making sure that you guys are on the same common goal as far as an outcome of what you're striving for. I think that everyone, whether it's individuals or whether you're in a relationship, should have some type of financial goal, whether it be credit based or just financial overall. Of course, since we talk about mainly credit on this channel, I will try to keep it all in one line here. So what do I mean? I talk to a lot of couples, and during that time frame, I find that a lot of the men, we always put off certain things, like, of course, home ownership, just being more responsible about credit. A lot of times, we're just so cash conscious. Whoever's got the most money, they bring it to the table, and that's always great. I'm not knocking that. But the women that I talk to, they are open to every area of finance most of the time. And the reason being, and it doesn't mean that one is, of course, has more knowledge than the other. It's just that, well, what I found is that women are more proactive, especially in the beginning times, just trying to keep everything, in order. And of course, I don't know which role you play inside your own household, not talking about male or female, but are you the one that procrastinates and just say, okay, you know what, we're going to do X, Y, Z, but you don't really necessarily have a date on it, right? Or you just keep putting it off. Or are you the person that's more proactive and say, hey, listen, you know what? Let's set a goal, let's set a date, let's put together an actual game plan on doing so. And what I found is that when I do my couples consultations, a lot of times one person may have a goal to actually go into home ownership, whereas the other person in the relationship, they're like, well, let's kind of hold off a little bit. And it's not just about home ownership. A lot of times, it's just about just putting basic things on the table, like your student loan debt, right? Eventually, you're going to have that conversation about your student loan debt or just overall debt, credit card debt, also your spending habits, whether you use, certain types of credit more than others. How often do you swipe your debit card? Do you go out to eat a lot? So again, these are things that have to be laid out on the table at some point in time. It's a tough conversation to have for everybody because everybody kind of feels not necessarily exposed in a sense, but when you think about it, who else do you really have those conversations with when you're talking finances? I know with my wife and I, we had to lay this out. We've been together since high school, so of course, a lot of these conversations we've had, a long time ago. That doesn't mean that things were always, perfect. It's just a matter of, okay, there's compromises and things that have to be made, but you don't know what a person wouldn't compromise on if you don't have that conversation. And I think that's a huge conversation to have at any point in your relationship, especially if you're talking about, furthering things, later down the line. And then you start talking about bigger things like how to pay off your student loans, which I think that is one of the biggest topics that a lot of people are not necessarily talking about. And then, of course, home ownership, owning cars, whether you want to keep paying cash for cars, whether you want to keep the car till the wheels fall off, whether you want to go into a lease, whether you want to go into a purchase, whether you have one car or you have two cars. I mean, that just cars alone could be a long conversation, right? But again, you just have to ask yourself, are you the person in the relationship that's holding things back? For example, I know that, in my own personal situation, I used to always, not always, but of course, there were always times where I see an opportunity. And so I've always taken more of the riskier side of going into things. This is just me being, transparent. And when you do something like that, you have to have a game plan on how things are going to kind of pan out. And of course, luckily for us, things have always worked out more than they haven't. But at the same time, we've learned also how to live on one particular income stream, and then of course use the other income streams to kind of take care of, like the outside debts and student loans, and even to fund our goals and our dreams. But you have to ask yourself, which person am I? Am I the person that's talking about doing something, not really putting a concrete plan together, a goal next to a date, and getting some things rolling? Or am I the person that's that's like, listen, let's get this thing going, let's go ahead and figure this out. Who do we need to talk to? Who do we need to follow? And that's the thing, is that yes, things are on YouTube, yes, things are on Google, but if you can learn from someone else's mistakes a lot faster by having a coach or a game plan or a book or an ebook or a course or a training, a seminar, something just to accelerate that learning curve, because everyone's going to have a learning curve, but you want to make sure that you accelerate that learning curve, especially if you can learn from someone else's mistakes. And you have to humble yourself. Will the person that you're in a relationship with be upset about, I don't know, your spending habits or your past or whatever the case may be? Possibly. But at the same time, you have to lay it out all on the table, because again, everyone's going to spend money a little bit differently. Some people still have the argument, who pays the bills in the house. Some people say the man should, some people say the woman should, some people say you should split them down the middle. That's a whole nother conversation. But as far as goal setting goes, that's where two like minds must come together and say, okay, listen, this is what we want to do. Who do we need to talk to kind of put these things into place? Because one thing that's inevitable, one thing that is undefeated is time. And it will get us all, okay? And what I mean by that is that we're going to get older. Time is just going to fly. And before you know it, you'll look back, and like, man, if I did X, Y, Z last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, then of course I'll be in a much better spot. So listen, set a goal to go over these types of conversations. I know it's tough. This week, if not today, tomorrow, tonight, whenever, and just say, okay, you know what? This is what I want to do. You don't have to go into like the heavier part of it, like, hey, this is where I messed up in my life. That's fine. You just say, listen, this is my goal, for what, for us. Well, this is what I want us to do. And again, it may start off with something as simple as, hey, let's move out of our parents' house, or hey, let's go into an apartment together, or hey, let's go into, a home, or hey, let's go into a rental property, or hey, let's just, let's try to live on one income, or hey, maybe let's set a goal for me to make whatever you make at your job so you can come home. So, but again, everyone's conversation is going to be completely different. You just have to find out exactly what your spouse's, your significant other, your partner, whatever the term you want to use, you want to find out what their goals are and make sure that they're common with yours. So either way, hope you like this video. If you like it, like it. If you want to share it, share it. Especially if you know people that's in a relationship that could benefit from something like this. And even if you're not in a relationship, these are the types of conversations that at some point during the dating process, you're going to have to talk about for sure. Okay. And of course, be sure to subscribe, as we have nothing but great content on the way. So thank you guys so much. Have a great day.